Welcome back to Tales of Truja, Campaign 2, Treasure of the Lost, Episode 4. We've really missed you quite a bit. I've cried. Evan's cried. Cole's rubbed our feet. He told us not to talk about that, but here we are. Let's get an update from last session. Beasil, are you up for it?
No.
Still no? Okay. That's fine. Whatever. I'll do it. So, this last episode, you followed Big Time back to his family estate, where you found out that his brother is Captain Thandulin, not Thandalin. And you found out that he's a Kingsman and that many of the guards are Kingsmen, which is what? Oh, gasp. And they are trying to get you guys to kill the newly appointed governor that was appointed by the king, who they're trying to off without getting themselves blamed for it. You guys decided not to do it, which resulted in Esther's tail being cut off and her being taken away from you and being held hostage.
Unjustly.
Justly. 100% your fault. So, you decided to go back to the tavern, and before you did, you hatched a plan that would incriminate Captain Thandulin so that you can get revenge on him and save Esther all in one.
Sounds good.
All right. So we will pick up with you two spooning in bed right before you go to sleep, thinking about the events of the day and deciding upon what your plan will be for the following morning.
All right, so we're cutting in now, right?
Oh, yeah. You're good to go.
All right.
Green light. Oh, I'm
Beasil,
sorry. Actually, sorry, Evan, I just had to do this. Anytime I say green light, for those of you that recall the not so good but necessary Star Wars: The Clone Wars movie, there's a moment where Captain Rex goes, "Green light, go, go!" I will insert that clip because it's perhaps one of my favorite things to say.
Green light. Go!
But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Evan.
Beasil, my boy, tomorrow we will make history.
How do you make history?
By being a part of it, my boy.
If you're a part of it, how do you make it?
Beasil,
Well,
roll insight for me.
It's not going to be good. Oh, insight is going to be 7.
7. So you think history is a story about so men, and you're wondering why some people are telling
most of the
stories
time
about
that's
men.
true.
What about stories about women?
Yeah, what about her story?
Well, anyway, my boy, tomorrow we shall avenge Esther
I'm all about that.
get justice against this terrible man who has coerced us into this most vile deed.
One question, though.
Go ahead, my boy. Anything.
Why is it going to be just us? I really feel like we should involve more people in this.
Because, Beasil, us is the only people we can trust.
Okay, but they captured us once, and it was just us.
That's right.
Evan, why don't you roll persuasion?
By the way, my character is fully aware sometimes that he is talking to Beasil, but he feels like sometimes it's just a little easier to go along with it than to fight back. That's you said insight?
Yeah.
20.
All right. No, persuasion. It was a persuasion.
I think I have +2 also to persuasion. So, yeah.
Way.
Yep, it's +2, so 20.
Yep, persuade.
Well, Beasil, my friend, sometimes in life, my boy, and you will learn this as you grow older, there are things in this world that are unjust. Unjust us. Unjust us. And it's up to us to right the unjust us.
Well, I have fire in just me,
That's right.
and you have unhealthy amount of alcohol.
Very true. Speaking of which, my boy, let's go ahead and rest. We've got a long day ahead of us tomorrow.
Okay.
But we never went over my what I meant to say was I just
Nope.
want to make sure.
The
I just
law
wanna make
of
sure.
declaration, although it does not apply in this situation, I will take it. You will go to sleep now. Long rest.
Can I say I fell asleep while trying to while I started talking and then just
You're
nodded off?
like, so here's the plan.
So here's the plan.
And then
And then I start to cuddle around him.
Yeah, you embrace Beasil. Beasil has very large nostrils, and as he breathes, your hair just goes in his nose, and as he exhales, it goes out of his nose. He's not very happy about the situation, but he can't really wiggle his way out from your grip. All right.
Awesome.
So you both get a decent amount of sleep, and by that I mean Gus sleeps really well, and Beasil, well, his sleep's a little hairy. So you both wake up. Your hit points are back. Your Arcana's back, and you're ready to hit the day.
Beasil, my boy. Oh,
Yes.
it's time. Time to enact the plan. Are you clear on what we're going to do?
Yes. We're gonna.
I went
go
over it
just
in
us.
detail last night before I fell asleep, right?
Yes.
All right, so repeat it back to me, my boy.
We're gonna avenge Esther, and it's gonna be just us.
Just us against the world, my boy. Come, let us go.
Okay.
You going, Beasil? Okay, so you guys both walk out of the room into the opening of the bar. There's not a lot of people out there because it's morning. I'm sure there's some drunkards. And to Beasil, what you're saying...
Is there a beer that somebody didn't finish I can just grab on the way out and swish?
No, the barkeep has cleaned everything. But and you're not walking out yet. But to Beasil's understanding, you two are going to go right back to the farm at just us and fight and win back Esther. In his mind, he's completely forgotten the night before that you guys have decided to get the mayor on board with you. And
Good. So I think Beasil knows the plan.
Well, Beasil thinks he knows the plan.
Yeah, Beasil thinks he knows the plan, and Gus, you have a completely different plan rolling around in your head. So whatever you guys want to do right now, it's up to you.
Beasil's just kind of pushing the sleeves up on his leather tunic.
Could I purchase maybe just a piece of bread or something best for breakfast?
Yeah, they don't really particularly make bread here. You're looking at some nasty bar peanuts. So yeah, you take is that what you want to do? You just take a handful?
As we're walking past, just kind of take a handful, kind of give a sign of farewell to the barkeep because he probably knows we're coming back, hopefully.
Yeah. So about 80% of that bowl is mostly just peanut shells from the night before. And you start crunching on it. No care in the world. You're just going to town on that.
Little pieces just going in my beard.
In the beard, for sure.
Awesome.
And you both exit the bar, and you look at this wonderful, beautiful morning in the town of Oasis.
I like to think it's very bright to me because I'm slightly hungover.
Yeah.
So I would like to kind of scan around and see if there's anybody that might know the location of the governor's office.
Yeah, Beasil's not waiting on that because he can pretty well remember the route back to the farmhouse, and he just starts walking that way.
Wait, Beasil, wait!
Why?
What? He said what?
Beasil, where are you going?
I'm going to avenge Esther with just us.
No, boy, wait. Remember the plan, boy. Remember the plan.
Just us does not wait.
He does remember
But
the plan. Beasil,
before
keep
we can-
going.
Yeah, Beasel's very hard to corral right now because he's just moving
He's
through the
fuming.
street.
Okay, so I'm just going to look for a passerby and literally just the first person I see, I'm going to ask if they know where to find the governor's office.
Yeah, a kind of an older dawnman starts walking past you. He's wearing a brown tunic with gold color stitching. And as you stop him, Beasil, he turns into an alley and you no longer see him.
Okay.
All right. So
Excuse me, man. Do you know where to find the governor's office?
well, dare I say, she'll be at the town hall.
All right. How do I get there, my friend?
Well, dare I say, you walk down a road.
That one or that one?
Well, dare I say, follow me.
Oh, wait. The last time I followed someone, it didn't end very well.
What happened?
A lot. If you could kindly just point me in the direction, I've got to find my boy anyway. I just lost him.
Well, dare I say, this road right down here.
Thank you, kind sir. And I would like to look to see if I just kind of looking around to see where did that boy go off to?
Yeah, why don't you roll for it?
Perception.
Yeah, perception.
16.
16. So you know that he wants to go get just us for Esther, and so he presumably is going back down. And you can kind of see his little tiny, his footsteps are pretty identifiable, going towards that alley you went in the night before.
Well, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He's a pretty smart lad. I would like to head towards the governor's office.
Okay. So
my character, by the way, fully believes that Beasil is executing his part of this plan.
yeah, and the funniest part
That I
to me,
forgot
exactly
that
that
I
you did not
realize
tell.
that I never explained to him.
Yep. So you think, darn, I made a good plan. So you walk down towards.
Still got it.
You walk down towards the mayor's office, and we'll flip back to Beasil. Beasil, why don't you roll? I'm trying to think.
Beasil Unchained.
Right, Beasil, I want you to roll for, I guess, history. We'll go with history.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. So you perfectly recall the route back to the farm, and you're good to go. I mean, you're trucking along. You're kind of confused why Gus isn't with you, but just us. You think, well, he knows the plan. He's gonna show up. He's gonna do his part of the plan.
Yeah, I would like to make it very clear that Beasil would not just storm in there because that's he is not a confrontational, well-suited in armor knight. So if he gets within the bounds of the town, he's probably just going to hide in some weed, or not town, of the house. He's probably just going to hide in some weeds and observe for a little bit.
So basically, we're doing like some kind of split op right now. We don't even realize it.
That is correct. You're both under the impression that you both are on the same page.
Not Beasil's fault.
I will say, Beasil, you are. I do agree with the assessment that you aren't necessarily confrontational, but you're very mad right now about about Esther's being held, right, by Captain Thandulin. And so you continue down the path, and as you do that, Gus approaches the town hall or the town square. He's not really sure which building it is, but there are plenty of people there that he could inquire about.
I would like to try to look and see which building seems most likely to be it. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah, why don't
I'm
you
sure you can recognize a government building. Typically, would be a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe
impressive.
roll perception. Roll perception.
Or perhaps there's a sign on it. You know what I mean?
Or maybe an insurrection happening outside.
Oh, a totally real one that's not fake. Yeah. 16 on perception again.
Okay. You look around and you see one particular brick building with blue shutters that has a small staircase up to double doors. On the side of the doors is the Arthurian crest with flags, which you can probably assume is most likely a government building of some sort.
Cool. All right. So I would like to head on in like I own the place.
Okay. You walk in like you are going to... Let's get performance on that.
All right. 18 plus 2.
Okay, so you walk in, you push both of the doors open. The sun perfectly hits you and
I am here.
creates a sun silhouette with you shining, and your beard is blowing in the wind with a small gust. And the front desk clerk is just in awe.
Can I walk in with my guitar out and just hit like one note?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Are you a musician?
Yes, I am here to play for the governor.
Oh. And you see that the clerk is a female dawnman with short curly red hair. Again, she's behind a desk, and you're in kind of like a waiting lobby. And behind her is a hallway with rooms peppered on both sides.
Is there a way I could use the Stacy's mom spell in order to maybe convince her that it is a private audience that she has requested a special performance?
With Stacy's mom, you can make her fall in love and then ask her if you could possibly get in. But go ahead.
All right. Am I good to do that?
Yeah, you are. Just sing
Okay.
sing your song and then roll for it.
Beasil had a mom. Yeah, Beasil was a good friend of mine. His mom was very hot. She breathed fire. It was hot. And Beasil's mom has got it going on. Say, Beasil's mom has got it going on. Now, Beasil's mom has got it going on.
All right.
I hope that was okay. I couldn't hear. I forgot to take my headphones off.
It was perfect. Why don't you roll Constitution for me now?
Okay.
Ooh. You better roll high.
Yeah, I rolled a 6.
All right. She got a 19 on her Constitution.
God.
Which is high. And although she's not falling in love with you, she's impressed when you open the door. And she says, "What can I do for you?"
Well, I'm here to give a private excuse me, and I would like to make a burp from the alcohol last night.
Yeah.
I'm here for a solo private performance for the governor herself.
For the mayor?
That's right.
Some people call her governor, which I think's pretty boss.
Well, governor. Depends on where you're from, lass.
That's so true. I don't... what's your name?
My name is Gus. From the
Gus,
band Screeching Beasil. We are traveling performers.
Okay, cool. Too much information, Gus. I just needed your name, okay? It seems you're not on the visitor list, but let me go back there and see if she has a moment, okay?
Thank you, lass.
So she gets up and she disappears.
Dylan, does she happen to have like a cup of wine or any beverage at her desk? Because I'm very parched.
Oh, you're parched from your peanut shells?
Yes.
You look around. She doesn't have anything. I mean, she doesn't drink on the job. She's not you. And she reemerges with the mayor, Sylvia Nossobor, and Sylvia says, "What can I do for you?"
Madam, if I could request a private audience with you.
For me, with me? Most certainly. Come back to my office. And
Thank you.
you go
I
back.
would like to give a polite bow.
That's not necessary. I'm an appointed figurehead. And you both walk back to her office on either.
Well, actually, we don't both because he's not anywhere near. Oh, you mean both? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah. So you guys walk, and before, like, guarding the entrance of her office are two guards, two city guards, and you enter into her office, and she motions for you to sit down in the chairs in front of her desk.
Okay, and are the guards? Is the door shut or is it open?
It's shut.
Can I look around and see if maybe I think that I can discuss this with her without anyone overhearing? Like, can I get a quick look around to see if maybe make sure that we are alone? I guess.
Yeah, give me perception.
18.
18. It doesn't seem like anybody could necessarily listen in unless it was involved with a spell to do so. But it seems like it's they're pretty thick walls.
All right. Madam Mayor, I must be honest with you. I'm not here for a performance. I am here on a much more dire and important matter.
What would that be?
Well, I guess the easiest way to explain would be just to show you this. And I would like to produce the piece of paper and hand it to her.
She takes it from you, studies it. You can see on her face there is a lot of surprise that when she identifies the Kingsman seal, she's kind of taken aback, and she leans in close to you and says, "Where did you get this?"
Well, as I said, I'm part of a musical group that traveled here. Me, my boy, and his mother are here. We're simply in town, making enough coin to head to our next stop. And upon the second day we were here, we were approached by a rather large fellow who propositioned that we could make some money performing for his brother at his estate. So naturally, me and my boy and the boy's mother, we were inclined to take him up on the offer. Little did we know we were being brought into a trap.
A trap, you say? Well, whose trap?
Well, I'm sure you know quite well Captain Thandolin.
You mean Captain Thandolin?
Of course, Captain Thandolin. How could I ever mistake him for Captain Thandolin, the most famous, anyway. Yes.
Yeah, of course, he's the captain of the city guard.
Well, he held the boy's mother hostage and threatened us that if we didn't agree to assassinate you, then he already maimed the boy's mother, but he said he would kill her as well as the two of us if we didn't comply.
Where is your son?
The boy's missing. I don't know. I certainly hope he hasn't been kidnapped as well. They might be worried that we didn't carry out the plan.
So let me get this straight. You got this paper from Captain Thandolin?
As we were being escorted out, I managed to pick it up off a table, and luckily it was something that could at least prove we've been inside that estate.
Well, if what you say is true, then that would mean Captain Thandolin is a Kingsman. Was there anyone else there?
Well, I would say 2 scores worth of guardsmen. This big-time fella, my boy and his mother. That's the only people I recall seeing.
This is troubling indeed. I'm glad you came to me instead of, well, assassinating me. But what I can tell you is I can help you rescue your wife and your boy. But I need you to do a favor for me.
Madam, I'm willing to do that. However, time is of the essence.
I would agree. But the nearest judicators will take some time to get here, and I must send for them.
Well, if I might insist, madam, perhaps maybe I could, or you might want to hire someone on the outside that, I mean, who knows who all's involved in this conspiracy?
Well, I brought my clerk with me when I was appointed to this area, so I can trust her. I will send her to the local judicators, but I need you to go and act as though you have completed this assassination. And I need you to stall them while the judicators come.
I see that I clearly have no other choice. It's much better than the alternative.
I believe so.
Well, maybe if you could give me something that I could have only gotten had I perhaps a lock of your hair, maybe your signet ring, something to show that I've completed the deed.
I do not wear a signet ring, and you may not have my hair. But I'm not opposed to finding a dead body and taking its head and putting it in a bag. So why don't we prepare for that? Let's exit the office and go talk with the clerk. So you both get up, and as soon as
is there any way I can check insight to see if she actually believes me? Because at this point, I'm worried about another betrayal.
Sure, she seems pretty genuine. You did hear that she was sent specifically by the king to be over this town. But yeah, you can roll for it. Roll insight for me.
That's 16.
Yeah, she seems like she's telling the truth. Like, she is a genuine, nice person. She was kind. She was sent there to help out that community.
And as the scene exits, I would like to look up and audibly out loud say, I hope the boy knows what he's doing.
I thought you said you didn't know where he was.
I don't.
Okay.
Madam, you might not know much about the dragon sages of the north, but I can tell you.
The dragon sage?
Yes, madam. Not only are they never late, but they're never in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Is that a dwarven title?
You might say.
So you both get up and you start to exit, and as soon as you open the door, lights go out. You see black, and that's where we'll leave off with Gus, and then we will go over to Beasil. Beasil approaches the farm. There doesn't seem to be anyone out, and he decides to start to link into the hayfield, or to walk into the hayfield to hide. All right, Beasil, we'll pick up with you.
Yeah, I'm just going to first check if Captain Thandulin kept his word about putting Esther in the greenest part of his pasture.
So to do so, you would have to go to a spot where it's a lot more open, and I would do disadvantage on stealth just because they're like open fields. Why don't you roll an insight for me?
What if 3 to 5 seconds he falls flat to the ground and then hops back up and runs again?
Why don't you roll insight for me?
12.
12. So an idea dawns on you from when you were younger with your horde of brothers and sisters, all 300 of them. And you knew that although your siblings were much larger than you, there was always an easy way to get out of them fighting or beating you up, which was a distraction. And as you continue to walk and kind of sneak through the hay, you think to yourself, I could probably make a pretty good distraction with this hay.
Yeah, with fire breath.
With fire breath? Okay. I don't think I'm going to make you roll for that, just because it's right there in front of you. But the way you're making it sound, because there's the road up, right, and one half is the hay, and one half is the open fields for the cattle. Are you wanting to light the fire towards the edge, or do you want to go more towards the center?
I'll go towards the center and then light the fire and scurry off the opposite direction, towards the house.
Towards the cattle?
Yeah.
Okay. So he hawks his nice little fire loogie in the center of the field, quickly igniting all of the hay. The flames, they reach you quick, but of course the fire is not going to harm you. And you start to scurry on over. I really do imagine like a real head wobbly run. Yeah, you got your claws up. I wish we had an animation of that. But you reach the edge of the hay, and you hear a very loud kind of like porch bell being rung, and people screaming out, "Fire, fire!" And you see multiple dawnmen and field hands run into the fields, or into the hayfield, carrying pitchers from the well.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can see Esther anywhere.
Okay, from the edge of the hay?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you roll perception for me? Or I guess investigation. I think either or, it doesn't really matter to me. I think it's the same roll.
14 for investigation.
Okay, you look out and it's really hard for you to identify really any difference between any of the cattle.
One of them's missing a tail.
And you don't see any of them specifically missing a tail.
Okay, then I'm heading towards the house.
Okay. Do you want to roll for stealth?
Yes.
Okay. Now it is broad daylight, so there's no shadows for you to slink in just yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, my stealth is going to be a 15.
15? Okay, perfect. So you stealthily, you're small, you're not really noticeable. Most of them are preoccupied on the, other side of the house, running from the well to the field, and the field is fairly engulfed, and it's acres upon acres. And they're carrying those pitchers of water back and forth. So you creep on up to the house. You're kind of hugging the wall as you stand there. Which way are you trying to go?
Is there any window that I can sneak in through?
Yeah, a little bit in front of you as you're hugging the wall. There is a window. It is kind of high. You'll have to jump for it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to get in it.
Okay. Why don't you roll acrobatics?
Well, I get real lucky here. With my +4, that's a 17.
Okay, so you hop up and you kind of miss the first time, and you hop up again, and you're able to get your claws sunk in the windowsill, and you kind of fling yourself up, and you shatter the glass on kind of the lower half of the window, and you land in what appears to be like a study. There's books around, and there's a very fine carpet.
Yeah, so I'm still stealthed, right?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, it's kind of tough because you did just bust a window, but for all intents and purposes, we'll say yes because there's no one's seen you. Whether or not they hear it is irrelevant.
Okay, I'll go to the closest door and just kind of open it a little bit and see if I can see anything going on in the house.
So actually, with you jumping through the window to the left side, it's a very large, just open kind of frame. I would say it's probably 6 feet across. To the right, there is a small, well, not a small, but a door leading into something. So are you trying to go to the opening or to that door on the right side?
The door on the right side.
Okay. You walk over and you jiggle the door handle and it's locked.
Okay, well, I will attempt to use my thieves' tools and pick the lock.
All right, go for it. You just have to get higher than a 10 on it.
Okay, well, that's a 14.
Okay, perfect. So you very easily now with your thieves tools, is this going to be like an extension of your shadow power, where you're like forming the shadow into a key, or are you physically using like a lock pick?
We'll go with the shadow thing. I just put my hand over the lock of the door,
Creating a
and then
shadow.
the shadow extends from my hand.
All right, perfect. I like it. So you do that, and it goes. That's right. You can hire me for sound effects because I'm really good at it. And you open it, and you slowly creak on in, and it's kind of a very dark lit room. Luckily, you can see in the dark, and you see that there is one of the guards from last night passed out drunk.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and loot him for anything useful to Beasil.
Okay. You walk over to him, and why don't you roll investigation for me?
Okay. Investigation or sleight of hand?
No, just investigation to find it first.
That's not good. 5.
5. Now roll sleight of hand for me.
I got a crazy sleight of hand, so this one will be good. That's a 16 after the modifier.
Okay, so you can't find anything, but you're reaching into his pockets with such skill, no one would know. And yeah, you don't find anything on him. And again, he's just passed out. You see a little bit of blood stained on him, and on the nightstand, you see a small knife also bloodied.
Well, Beasil is going to assume that this is the person who took the cow's tail off, and he's going to grab the knife and perform a sneak attack on the guard.
All right, go for it.
Okay, let me roll to hit him.
And he's also prone.
Oh, gosh. I guess it doesn't matter, because a prone creature is a critical anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, it's double damage, I think.
So what if you roll a nat 20 on a hit on a prone creature?
Holy cow. That's like a
Um,
double critical.
Yeah. We'll just quad your points on your attack.
That's going to be a lot.
God.
So using the dagger is a 1d6 plus my dexterity, and then the sneak attack gives
So
me
you-
an extra 3d6.
Peyton missed at him.
All right, yeah, roll for damage.
Okay, on just the dagger, that's going to be 8.
Okay, keep going.
Sorry, I've only got 1d6, so I've got to roll this multiple times.
You're totally fine. You go to town. I'll just stare into Evan's eyes.
So that's 14 so far.
Okay.
15. So you can guess what that roll was. 18. Sorry, that one fell. That one fell too. Sorry, I'm rolling in the room. And so it's going to be a grand total of 19, but that doubles because of the critical, correct?
Yes, it does. So, how would you like to do it?
Beasel's just going to grab the top of his hair in a rage and just slit the his throat while he sleeps.
Golly.
Like clear through, like around, like his head comes off?
No, just right over his throat right there.
Okay. Yeah, so Beazle grabs his hair and he's looking down with passion and fury, and the Donovan kind of starts to wake up, and he just goes cutting his throat open, and the blood spurts all over Beazle. kind of coding him in it.
And Beasil will say, "I told you I would find you," and that.
And he just slumps over dead. No one's really heard anything. They're still really busy out in the field, but you've definitely killed this one guy. And the room you're in is just like a small kind of spare bedroom. There's an unlit lantern on the bedside with the knife that you just picked up to use to kill him. What would you like to do now?
Put the knife in his hands.
Okay,
Wow.
You put the knife in his hands. Why don't you dang, I'm not really sure what to do for this one, but why don't you try to write
A suicide note?
yeah, why don't you try to write in his own blood on the wall, "I regret everything."
Yeah, okay. Could I do a performance check at disadvantage for that?
Yes.
Be horribly misspelled.
Okay, so disadvantage, it's going to be a 2.
It's going to be a 2. So you get up there, you've dipped your little claw in, and you just you stab in and just drag down this wall, occasionally making little zigzags, and you pull it out and you look at it real proud and you go, mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's interesting to me is the idea that Beasil has like a concept of suicide notes.
Yeah.
That alone is worth it for me. But yeah, it's up to you. What do you want to do now, Beasil?
Is there any other way out of the room other than the one I came in?
No.
Okay, so, but there are shadows throughout the house?
Not any that you could necessarily slip in and travel far. Like it'd be like the shadow for the table and whatever it might be. I think normal stuff will probably do you fine just because there's so much crap in this house. They're very wealthy. But the room you're in itself it's a shadow. There's not a window or anything.
Okay, well, I'll go back to the room that I initially snuck into, but I will peek in the room first to make sure that there is not anybody that's going to see me coming out of there.
Okay, I'm going to make you roll for stealth again. Would you like to do that now or after?
Well, can I do a perception to see who's in there
Yeah,
first?
you can do perception first.
Sorry, my dice keeps falling off this little tray I'm rolling on. So perception is going to be 12.
12. Okay, so you open it and you hear and see big time. You don't see the second person, but you recognize the voice as being Captain Thandulin, and he's saying, Captain Thandulin saying, "What's happening out there in the fields, big time? Get a grasp on it and go help them put it out." "Well, brother, I don't really know what's happening." And he smacks big time across the face, making big time kind of real, and he holds his cheek. He says, "Okay, brother, I'll go." And then he leaves. Another Dawnman comes down the stair. There's like a spiral staircase or a curved staircase going up. You've got that opening, a little bit of a hallway, and then that staircase going up the stairs. And so he comes down, and he asks Captain Thandulin what he wants him to do. He says, Captain Thandulin says, "Go wake him up over there. I think he's still drunk off of last night," pointing to the room that you're at right now.
Okay, so I will go ahead and let me find it. I'm going to use cunning action, which just allows me to take the hide action. So I'll just hide behind something big enough to
Now,
conceal Beasil fully.
again, this room is dark. You could hide anywhere in this room.
Okay, well, if it's dark, then I'm just going to go ahead and cast Shadow Walker.
Shadow Walker. Okay, which one is that again? Is that the 3-minute one?
No, this This just allows me to go into it doesn't have a time on it. It lets me go into the shadow, and it doubles my speed, and it's impossible to see me without a 16 or higher perception roll. But even with that roll, they can just tell something's off about the shadow.
Okay. So he enters the room. He opens it, which illuminates a part of the room which you're not in, and he sees and gasps at the ghastly sight of the blood still spurting out of this guy's neck. And he sees that he's holding the knife himself, and that there's like a weird little carve in the wall with zigzags at the end. And he's like, "What the crap happened?" He shuts the door, runs over, and turns the lantern on, illuminating everything. Now, in the shadow, where did you want to be in the room?
Just like right, if there's like a bookcase between the lantern and the door, that would remain shadow regardless of if they open the door or turn the lantern on. That's where I would like to be.
There's not. It is like a real primitive kind of Spartan room. It's just that bed in the lantern. Now you could be on the wall or anything. When the light comes on, doesn't necessarily mean you're instantly seen. It just means you're like Spider-Manning wherever you were.
Well, I'll just go under the bed far enough behind that the lantern turning on wouldn't affect me.
Okay, so he turns the lantern on, and why don't you roll? And he's like kind of checking his pulse and whatnot. You know, what's the point? But you roll perception, or can you roll insight for me?
Gosh, insight rolls 6.
6. Dang, that's unfortunate. You kind of, in your mind, you're like, I just took that guy out. Maybe I could do this. I could get this guy too. And it dawns on you just to cast a little, your fire breath, at this guy.
Okay, not what I would have done, but we'll go with it.
You don't have to. It's just the idea that pops into your head.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm actually going to attempt for Beasil to imitate like a ghost of the dead guy, to kind of frighten the other guy.
All right, do persuasion for me.
$14.
Okay, give me your best ghost. In high British lingo.
I did this because I felt guilty.
And he looks around and he's like, "What the heck's going on?" And then he kind of shakes his friend again, and his friend doesn't budge, and he goes, "Nah, there's something going on." And he kind of like looks around the room, and he gets on all fours and kind of looks under the bed. He doesn't see anything.
As soon as he looks under the bed, I will ignite the fire breath in his face.
Okay, so you ignite fire breath. Why don't you roll for me? Give me a dex with advantage, just because you're so close.
I'm gonna have to stabilize this thing better. So dex at advantage will be 19.
19. So you, for some reason, it just imbued in you. You are the dragon sage, and you let loose the biggest flame you ever have. You're feeling like one of those top tier dragons, and you hawk the fire in his face. Why don't you roll damage for me?
The biggest flame ever for the most little amount of damage.
I'll give you double damage for it. Or roll your damage twice, not double damage. Roll for it twice.
Do you want me to add the +3 modifier on both?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one's a 6. And the other one's a 4.
Okay. Yeah, so you hawk that fire. Now it spreads out from underneath the bed and it goes up and it ignites that lantern. And that lantern blows up for an additional... Let's see. And your damage was 10 in all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's going to do another 10 damage. and he's on fire now. Why don't you roll for initiative?
Six.
All right, and I got an 11. So he's on fire, right? He's hurting. You hit him right in the face, like he is melting, right? His skin is fusing. You're seeing like tendon and muscle, and he
Dang.
is going to take his short sword out and try to swing it at you. He is going to do so at disadvantage, just because he's pretty blinded right now. Let's see. Does a... Oh, I didn't even roll for... I'm an idiot. Does a 16 hit?
Beasil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. For 7 damage. So
Okay.
he just swipes and he barely nicks your arm, just cutting it open slightly at the bicep. It is your turn, and he's gonna roll because he's on fire. What's your fire breath mod? It's +3.
Yep.
Okay, so he's gonna take another 4 damage, and he is very close to the cusp of death. So
Yeah, Beasil's just gonna attempt to slash back at him with the short sword.
okay, you
Or
are
it's
gonna
not short sword, but dagger.
your dagger. You're gonna be at his knees specifically. Okay, so
Okay.
why don't you roll for damage?
Not to hit.
Sorry, roll to hit. Yes, correct.
Does a 15 hit him?
It does not. Actually.
Okay.
Do you have any little bonuses that you can do?
Yes.
Oh, your breath attack is a bonus action, isn't it? You can use it as a bonus.
Yes, I can. And so I shall.
All right, roll dex for me.
$15.
So you hawk another one, and it just hits the ceiling, igniting it on fire. And he is just in grueling pain, and he's going to do one last ditch effort to stab at you. Let's see. 17.
Yes, that will hit.
Okay, it was 17 last time, wasn't it?
16 last time.
Oh, okay. For 4 points of damage. So he's going to stab you right in the shoulder. He can't really see very well, so he's not able to really drive it in far. And then it is now your turn, and he's going to take some more fire damage, which is going to kill him. So he just, after he goes to stab you that last time, he's just gonna slump over, smoldering on fire. All around you, this whole room is engulfed in flame. Now the house is on fire.
Yay!
And we are going to go back over to Gus.
That's epic.
So, Gus, you come to. You're real hazy. You've been tied up now twice in 2 days. Twice in 2 days. You kind of look around and you see that the mayor is tied up in her office, and you're tied up in the chair of the office. And those 2 guards that were on the outside
Wait. What happened?
Remember when you walked out, you blacked out. They knocked you out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Your head's kind of sore, and the mayor still hasn't come to. So that's where you were at, Gus.
So far, nobody even knows. Like, she didn't get to tell anybody anything.
Correct.
Great. That's perfect.
It's up to you to save the day. Now, again, you have no idea what Beasil is doing. He could be, he could be dead for all you know. He could be kidnapped, not being like a total Liam Neeson bad A.
You boys really don't want to hold me here.
Is that right? Why not?
That's because my boy has a particular set of skills. And as soon as he finds out that you're holding me here, He will come after you. He will find you. And he will kill you.
The guard smacks you across the face, not for any damage. He just smacks you. And he says, "Yeah, I bet your son's gonna be right over here."
You just wait. Got a lot of moxie, just like his mother.
The one guard is kind of hovering more so over the mayor, while this one's talking to you and smacking you. You do feel as though the ropes aren't really that tight on you, and you might be able to slip out of it.
Must be the same guy that tied
I
you
was
up.
going to say, they really don't think they're not very good here.
They're not Eagle Scouts. What can I say?
I assume I've been disarmed.
Yeah, your stuff is just on the pile on the floor. They weren't able to take you anywhere without, rousing suspicion.
All right. Well, I would like to attempt to if I could try, like, am I sitting on my arse?
Yeah, you're sitting down in the chair. You're tied to that chair you were in before.
I want to try to, like, hop up enough to get my hands in front of me while they're still bound. Fucking wrap him around his fucking back of his neck and just drive his head right into my knee.
Wow, you're gonna make this a really hard roll for yourself by adding more things.
Yep.
All right. Well, give me
fine.
strength and or performance.
All right. Strength and performance, you say?
Yes, sir.
Strength is 16 plus 4.
You have a +4 to strength?
I do.
Holy crap.
And 16, again, plus 2 for 18 on performance.
All righty. Why don't you roll a 1d4 for that kneeing damage? Well, actually, now that I think about it, he's so tall, you're going to have to jump up. But, you already did the performance. But anyway, you grab him and you bring his head down. Roll a 1, or first roll to see if you hit him.
Okay. Am I rolling? You're rolling d20 for hit, right?
Yeah.
No. Okay. And is that are we doing on strength for the modifier for that?
For that one, you will be on strength, yeah.
That's just a 12.
Okay, so you're not able to hit him, but yeah, you grab him and you bring him down, and he kind of shoves you off right before you're about to knee him. Why don't you?
So is he stumbling back?
Yeah, he just kind of shoved you. You're both kind of flying back. No one's falling or anything. And why don't you roll initiative?
I was about to ask if I could try to roll initiative.
Yep.
Sorry, it landed crooked. I'm gonna re-roll that. I've got too much wires up here. Okay, yep. So that's only a 7.
20. So he is going.
Jesus, of course. I might as well not even roll dice. I might as well just do like a 1 through 4 number generator.
Yeah, well, he's gonna probably be at disadvantage because he's got a spear in this little office.
Dang.
So he is going to take his spear. It's just kind of laying, or leaning against the wall. He's gonna grab it and try to strike at you with one hand. Let me roll for that at disadvantage. We got a 19. Let's hope that the next one's not great. No, it's still good. All right. Will a
yes
17 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me roll for damage. So he's going to thrust his spear at you, which is not as much damage as you would think, for 4 damage. So he kind of strikes it at you, and it just barely skins you on the side. It's your turn, but you don't have any weapons. I'll have you know you
that's fine.
Can sing.
Can I roll to grab the spear, the shaft of it
as he's pulling it back?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Give me strength, but it's going to be against his strength, and he is a Dawnman. So.
You said strength. Oh, that's a 17.
Oh, I only got a 9. So yeah, that works. You grab that spear and you, you pull it from him and you point it at him.
So that's my turn.
Yeah, now it is your turn, and you've got that spear.
Okay. It's still my turn. All right.
Well, it wasn't. Oh, sorry, you're right. You just took it from him.
Yeah.
I guess if you have a bonus action, you could move or.
I don't really know what singing would do for me here anyway. Maybe I guess I could try to like project my voice and intimidate. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, try to intimidate him. Roll for it.
Shoot. 17.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna do it. What would you like to say to intimidate him?
Ah!
Okay, cool. You catch him off guard. He kind of stumbles backwards, actually tripping over your items, your latar on the floor, and he falls backwards and hits his head. And it's going to be his turn, in which he is now going to stand up and grab your latar like a baseball bat to swing it at you.
Is he intimidated?
Yeah, he got intimidated and he fell backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all
And
that
he stood up
If
and
I'm gonna die, I want to die with an intimidated.
and he's grabbed your latar. Now it is your turn again.
Oh, okay. You said there was 2 of them in the room, right?
Yeah, the other one's over by the. They're not in combat though. They're guarding the mayor.
Are they just watching this happen?
I just told you they're guarding the mayor.
Oh.
I'll say
okay.
They're guarding the mayor. Evan, they're guarding the mayor.
Okay.
Use your fire breath.
Yeah, I don't have that though. See,
Oh.
all my modifiers are garbage except strength, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have any other choice but to just like charge and thrust.
Okay, charge and thrust. Go for it. Roll.
That's gonna be a 5.
So you charge and you thrust at him and you just completely miss. And then he takes a swing at you with the latar. Does a 7 hit you?
Negative.
No. Okay. And now it's your turn again.
That's me, Latar!
This is all Beasil's fault.
And I
want to
thrust
stuff done.
I want to thrust again, damn it.
Okay, you thrust again. Roll for me.
17 on the thrust.
That 17 is going to hit. Why don't you roll damage?
Cool. I don't know what the damage is on a spear.
Sorry,
Is that a D6?
you're doing it two-handed, so it's a 1d8 plus your
1d8.
Yep, plus your dexterity modifier.
Awesome. Killer.
Yeah, Beasil might be getting stuff done, but he sure doesn't know if it's good stuff or not.
That's just a 5.
A 5, yeah. So you stab him right in the gut, and he kind of falls to his knees. He's dipped below half damage. You have the weaker of the guards. And it's his turn, and he just he holds the spear kind of like in the movies, and he pulls it further into him, bringing you closer. And as he does so, he incurs damage because I guess he didn't realize that is going to hurt him more than anything else.
Okay.
So let's see, that is going to be 10 points of damage, which quite literally kills him.
Okay, okay, never mind. If he's dead, then never mind.
Yeah, he just
I was going to say, if he didn't die, I was just going to see if I could roll strength to push the spear into something so that he can't get, like, he's...
If you wanted to do that as well, you could. But yeah, he reaches for you after pulling, and then he just flops like a dead fish.
All right.
And you're out of combat, and you turn around, and the other guard has a knife to that now awake mayor's neck. And that is where we are going to leave you, Gus, and that's where we are going to leave you, Beasil, in this epic episode of Treasure of the Lost. I am Dylan. Some might call me Beasil. No, I'm Beasil.
Now, I'm Beasil.
No, I am Beasil.
No,
It's just us.
it's just
and
us.
we are
That's what I was
Beasil.
gonna say. Dang it. Okay, perfect.